Get ready for a night of cold-blooded betrayal and hard-earned revenge in Harlem's most legendary hotspot. When the king of numbers returns from Alcatraz, after 11 long years, he finds his empire carved up by the one man he trusted most. Tonight, in Small's Paradise, old loyalties will be tested, secrets exposed, and a scar will be delivered that no one will ever forget. This tale has the grit of street justice, the drama of a crime lord's homecoming, and a showdown witnessed by hundreds. So if you like stories like this, like and subscribe for more. June 10th, 1963, Small's Paradise, 135th Street and 7th Avenue. The dining room was buzzing. Jazz notes floated above tables piled with ribs and whiskey. But at table 7, everything froze when Bumpy Johnson slid a plate across to the man trembling opposite him. "Eat," he said softly, his hand inching toward his waistband. "This is your last meal." Marcus "Smooth" Henderson shook so violently he could barely lift a rib. 11 years ago, he'd been Bumpy's protege, the young hustler from 118th Street, whom Bumpy had taught the numbers game and protected when gang wars threatened. Then Alcatraz locked Bumpy away, and Smooth stepped in, grew fat on the territory, struck a deal with the Genovese family, betrayed his mentor, and pocketed the spoils. Now Bumpy was back, and he'd spent the last 72 hours planning tonight. He hadn't gone home after the 3-day train trip from San Francisco. No greetings for his wife, no rest. Straight to Junie Bird's tenement on 145th Street, where the old lieutenant had tracked every man who'd enriched himself on Bumpy's absence. Junie rattled off 15 names, collectors, lieutenants, fencemen. But one name snapped Bumpy's jaw shut: Marcus Henderson, the same man entrusted to run the kingdom, the same man who showed up every Tuesday and Friday at 9, table 7, Small's Paradise, to drink cognac, eat the finest ribs, and lord over Harlem's nightlife. At 6 in the evening, Bumpy called his old circle. Junie Bird, Willie Fish Jackson, and Raymond Quick Lewis took their places. By 8:45, Small's Paradise was packed. Musicians tuning up, waiters weaving between tables, couples clinking beer bottles. Bumpy stepped in at 8:50, dust-covered charcoal suit, scuffed shoes, hands empty. Yet the room shifted. Even the kitchen staff eased back. Conversations hushed as he made his way to table 8, directly beside table 7. He sat with his back to the wall, eyes on the entrance, an old habit that never failed. Exactly at 9, Smooth swept in, cream suit, burgundy tie, diamond rings, a cavalcade of 4 beefy bodyguards. He laughed as he strode through the door, confident as a king. But then he saw Bumpy Johnson, his face drained of color, his swagger vanished, his men stiffened, thumbs brushing gun grips. "Marcus," Bumpy said in a voice that carried without raising it, "come join me." Smooth paused. One of his enforcers, Leon, took a step forward. "Boss?" "This is my table," Junie Bird said, standing and leveling a .45 at Leon's chest. "Sit down." In a heartbeat, guns popped from jackets. Willie Fish Jackson rolled up his sleeve, produced a sawed-off shotgun. Quick Lewis trained his revolver on Leon. The restaurant fell silent. 250 people froze mid-bite. The jazz trio stopped playing. Waiters backed slowly toward kitchens. Patrons ducked under tables. Only Bumpy Johnson remained motionless. "Send them off," Bumpy said to Smooth in a whisper meant for every ear in the room. He can't," Smooth stammered. "I said go." Leon barked, "Orders." The 4 bodyguards retreated, hands still on holsters, glancing at Junie's pistol. They left, unwilling to die on a Friday night over a table dispute. Bumpy beckoned Smooth to the empty chair across the table. A young waiter trembled as he approached. 2 bourbons and the best ribs you've got, Bumpy instructed. The plates arrived, redolent with hickory smoke and sauce. He nudged one toward Smooth. Eat. Smooth stared, his voice trembling. I'm not hungry. Eat, Bumpy repeated, and the words resonated through the hushed room. This is your final meal. A hush. Smooth's eyes darted to every weapon trained on him. He realized this wasn't a parley. It was a verdict. Bumpy, I needed to survive. I thought you were gone forever. You gave my houses to the Italians, told them where my collectors worked, left my wife without a penny for 11 years, Bumpy said, voice low but echoing. Loyalty isn't a thing you trade for safety. Smooth's face crumpled, tears flowing. Please, I'll give it all back. I'll fix it. I don't want it back, Bumpy said, pulling a straight razor from his pocket. The blade gleamed under the club lights. This is a public reminder. He flipped it open. The hush turned to a tangible tension. Romans forced traitors to eat their last meal before execution. I decided to adapt their custom. He slid the razor across Smooth's left cheek, a fine cut that spilt blood onto the cream suit and carved a scar. Smooth screamed, clutching his face. The entire room recoiled as the crimson line grew. That scar will tell everyone who you are, a man who betrayed the king, Bumpy said. He paused to let the weight of that sentence sink in. Then he snapped the blade shut and tucked it away. You have 24 hours to clear out of Harlem. Take what you can carry. If I set eyes on you after tomorrow night, I won't be this merciful. He stood and addressed the stunned patrons. Bumpy Johnson is back. Remember the rules. Pay what you owe. Keep your word. Protect your own. Anyone wanting to test me knows where to find me. At 9:47 p.m., he walked out as casually as he'd entered. Behind him, Smooth lay bleeding at table 7, surrounded by witnesses who would spread word by dawn. By sunrise, nothing in Harlem was the same. Smooth Henderson was on a bus to Philadelphia by noon. Branded forever. 3 other traitors vanished in the next 72 hours, quietly exiled. The Genovese family sent a capo to meet Bumpy. 4 minutes later, the Italians had agreed to withdraw north of 110th Street. They'd lost soldiers and decided it wasn't worth the cost. Within 6 months, every piece of Bumpy's network was restored. Not through open warfare, but through a single demonstration of power. Small's paradise that night became legend. The night the godfather of Harlem returned and reminded everyone that true authority lies not in armies but in unshakable respect. You can lock a man in Alcatraz for over a decade, steal his wealth, seize his streets, but you cannot dethrone a king who keeps his promises. If you'd like more stories like these, please like and subscribe.